Welcome back to the Basement Boys podcast and this week's free episode. If you want bonus episodes every week, check out patreon.com/basementboyspodcast, where we upload an additional weekly episode for $2 a month. You can also get access to bonus footage and behind the scenes. Regardless, we appreciate all your support, and we hope you enjoy this episode. Welcome back to episode 4 of the Basement Boys podcast. What's going to be my favorite episode and Zach's least favorite episode, but that's how it should be, honestly.
Every
Because
episode should be my least favorite.
I want to start this episode just talking about the fact that this episode, we're going to be eating hot sauce at the end of the episode. And I cannot wait. Now, Zach, on the other hand. Zach, how do you feel about hot sauce?
I like slightly spicy foods, but I feel like adding hot sauce to anything is a bad decision for me.
Zach's a black pepper boy. Zach's the pepper shaker at the restaurant kind of boy. Meanwhile, I like eating entire country's worth of peppers, but I still have a bad reaction. I'm getting way too cocky because even though I like it, I
like
enjoy
that
it.
in the notes it's a red triangle.
I know. I made sure to make that podcast topic specifically red. I like the taste of it, but I still have the reaction that's embarrassing of getting teary-eyed and shit. So
Turning into a little baby.
I'm getting way too hype because I'm gonna look bad, but I'm gonna enjoy it at the same time. So, yeah, we're going to be eating hot sauce again this episode, and it was a bit that I came up with that Zach tried to fight me on.
I immediately said no, and he was like, no. You remember middle school when you took that one drop of, the hottest hot sauce? I don't remember what it was at all, but it was, that big, and it cost $100 for that hot sauce, one drop, pizza, whole pot of chili, whatever. I took a drop of that and spent the rest of the day dying.
So I don't remember that. Therefore, I don't know where that story came from. You just told an entire story I swear I've never heard before.
The thing is, you were there.
I don't remember it at all.
You were there.
If I did remember it, I probably would have used it as reason to get you to do this bit. But I don't remember that ever happening. Regardless, I convinced Zach to do this bit just because I thought it'd be fun. And the way it's going to work is every podcast that ends with the number 4 in the title, will have hot sauce at the end of the video. My original plan was to do every podcast that had a 4 in the number, in the name, be a hot sauce episode. But then we realized
into the 400s.
Then we realized once we get to the 40s, every episode would have hot sauce. And while I think that'd be fucking hilarious, we don't have the money to buy 11 hot sauces in a row for
Please
11.
Give us money.
For 11 episodes in a row. Now, again, if we do make enough money on Patreon and people really want that bit...
11?
40 through 49. Oh, okay, no, I guess it'd be 10. I'm an idiot. I was thinking, yeah, you're right. It'd be 10. It'd be 10 episodes in a row.
But then you were also thinking 40... I think you were thinking 44 twice. Which we should just do 2 hot sauces on 44.
Maybe we'll do 2 hot sauces on 44... regardless of how much money we make. But if we don't make a lot of money off Patreon, at least not enough money to buy 11 hot sauces, because listen, I get it, hot sauces aren't that much money, but buying 11 hot sauces is going to be over $100, and neither of us have $100 in spare change right now. So maybe for episode 44 we'll do 2 hot sauces. But yeah, that was a problem. We quickly realized the fallacy in doing a hot sauce every episode with a 4 in it, especially in the 400s. Oh boy.
Yeah.
I can't wait for the 400s, dog. Imagine if people support
100 episodes straight of hot sauce.
Imagine if enough people support this Patreon, not for us, but just
to watch us die for 100 episodes straight.
Pretty much. Oh god.
And I feel like we'd have to do different shit too each time.
Of course. Well, and we'll get into that. We're gonna play a little game at the end to go alongside the hot sauce, but just the overall bit and the overall segment we're now including to our podcast is every episode that ends in a 4. So this is episode 4. The next time we'll do this bit will be 14 and 24, etc. We'll have a hot sauce, and we'll be playing a game. It'll be a different game every episode, and a different hot sauce every episode. That ends with a 4, of course. So the hot sauce in episode 14 will be different, and the game we play at the end of episode 14 will be different. However, we should probably just get into the topics. I'm talking way too much about a topic that's ending the podcast. Rightfully so, though.
Spend the whole hour hyping up the hot sauce and then 2 minutes doing it.
I know. Well, I'm just saying, if we did the hot sauce at the beginning of the episode, this episode would not be good. So that's why we're pushing it off to the end. Just to make sure we have some good content before we fail to commentate at all.
I don't own any milk.
I don't own milk either.
We're fucked.
That's okay.
It's over.
But yeah. So I'm a little pissed though because I had a lot of topics planned for this episode, and they're things I just think about with my current crappy sleep schedule again, where I'm like staying up till 3, 4, 5 in the morning, and I think about things at 3:30 in the morning, and I'm like, that's such a good podcast topic, and I don't write it down in our Discord, so it doesn't become a podcast topic because my memory is so bad I forget about it, and it really frustrates me. So I've started to make this Discord, our podcast Discord, one of the top Discords on my app. Like, it's my Discord, our group Discord, and then podcast topics. Like, those are the top 3, so I always have it refreshed in my memory, but I don't know. My memory is so bad, and I think of things at the weirdest times. Apparently so do you, given you remembered a story from middle school that I have no clue about.
It's relative to hot sauce.
I guess.
An excuse for you to make me do it.
Well, I'm glad you're
because
given...
I have a really bad reaction.
I don't remember this story. Can you retell? Like, how was your reaction? What was your reaction?
It was just like, oh fuck, my mouth is on fire. I'm literally dying. And then I downed like... So they sold like milk cartons at our school for like 50 cents. But you paid like $3 if you got lunch or whatever, total. But this one guy brought like a little thing of... I don't know if it was it was one of the top 10 at least hottest hot sauces in the world. And he like had hella toothpicks, and he just dipped one in so that only the tip of the toothpick would have a little like bead of hot sauce on it. And he'd like give it to you, put it on your tongue, and then you'd explode. Now one guy took this like a champ and then kissed his girlfriend, and then she wanted to slap the shit out of him because she started dying from it.
That's a yikes, dog.
So, yeah.
Now I'm sad I don't remember this story.
You were right next to that guy and his girlfriend when it happened, too.
I don't know.
But anyway, so I fucking decided I was going to try it at lunch. And I took a hot sauce, like a little like dab of it on my tongue. And I'm like, oh, this is fine. Everything's fine. This is the hottest the world has to offer. And then, like, a minute later, it hit me. And it literally feels like my mouth is on fire. I'm trying to, like, scrape this shit off my tongue. It's too late. It's already, like, spread all over my mouth. My nose is, like, running. I'm tearing up hella bad. Clearest sinuses I've ever had. but, like, it hurt a lot. So I run over to, like, the lunch ladies. I'm like, hey, I know you guys just closed up the thing, but can I get, like, 2 milks? And they're like, yeah, are you okay? And, like, my face is red. I'm just like, no. So they give me the milks. I give them $1, and I down both of them, and I still, like, feel it hard. So I'm like, can I get more? They're like, yeah, just take them all.
Yeah, okay. Well, I understand your concern, and honestly... I'm going to give you a fact that you should probably be more concerned about moving forward, and something to calm you down for this episode. So, what's crazy to me is that was in middle school, and you had this reaction. Yeah. Maybe it's because you were young. But, like, if you don't know, and I only know this because I watch Hot Ones on YouTube, but hot sauce has gotten so much hotter, like exponentially hotter.
That doesn't make me feel better.
In the last couple years.
That doesn't make me feel better at all.
So... if we eventually get to, like, the hottest hot sauces, which I said this in a behind-the-scenes video I made, which is up on our Patreon right now, but we are starting off on, like, a pretty medium hot sauce. This is about a 5 out of 10 on the heatness scale, and we're going to kind of fluctuate. The next hot sauce I purchased on Amazon, and I'm hopefully getting it delivered soon. It'll obviously be here in time for episode 14. We should hope, at least. I don't know. With these shipping delays, we'll see. But... episode 14's hot sauce is technically not as spicy as this one. But they're going to progressively get more spicy. It'll just be a fluctuating scale. So by the time we're in the 400s, we might beat to some of the hottest hot sauces in the world.
I don't want to.
And I can't wait to see your reaction with
I
that.
don't wanna.
Because if you reacted in such a way in middle school to the hottest hot sauce then, the hottest
Yeah.
hot sauce now is leagues above that.
Yeah,
I
I'm
can
sure.
guarantee you. But again, to calm you down for this episode, this is only like a 5 out of 10. Next
A
week,
5.
it's a 5 or a 6. Next week's,
Oh.
I don't remember. Next week's is either a 4 or 5 out of 10. I know it's one less. I just don't remember which.
Which one this is?
Yeah, I don't remember the number rating.
So anyway, I drank like up to 6 of the little like cartons of milk, and that was our lunch was third or fourth period at that time, which was stupid. You basically got in at like 7 a.m. and we're eating lunch at 9.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. Because it changed, like,
Yeah.
depending on what grade you were in, decided what period you ate lunch. So, like, when we were in middle school, we came to school at 7, ate lunch at 9. When we were in 12th grade, our lunch was the second last period of the day. So we got to school
Yep.
at 7, didn't eat lunch until like 1:30 in the evening.
At night, and that's why I think I always had food in government class, because that was like
Yeah.
the period like 4 or 5, and that's like the middle of the day.
Well, a lot of my friends at college, like, have told me stories about how they were never allowed to eat food in high school. So when professors allowed them to eat food in their class, they get so excited. But, like, we don't really have that same, I guess, connection because our teachers were at least aware enough to allow us to eat food in most of our classes because they knew how bad the lunch schedule was. Like,
Yeah.
sometimes certain grades, and they even changed it, it wasn't the same way every year.
No,
So, like, yeah, when we were in 8th grade, we ate lunch at around 12, an appropriate time. But like I said, in like 7th grade, we're eating it at 9 in the morning. 12th grade, we're eating it at 1:30 in the afternoon. Like, they changed the lunch schedule so often, and because our school had so many different grades within it, it was unpredictable, and it was unnecessary.
Yeah.
It was the worst way to host a lunch schedule because, I don't know, in 7th grade...
I think it was straight up just like because we were attached to an elementary school, a high school, and a middle school,
Yeah.
and the lunchroom obviously couldn't even our lunchroom couldn't even take the middle school, which
Yeah.
is like the smallest demographic of people.
We had such a small lunchroom.
So we basically had trailers next door that were used for classes and lunch.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad, and
So I think they might have like given the best times whenever they were to like the younger kids, because
yeah,
in middle school and high school you can just bring your own food. And
I do remember the elementary school grades having the best lunch times, but yeah, it was nice in that regard at least because you can't expect an entire grade of 7th graders to eat lunch at 9 in the morning and then be okay the rest of the day
Yeah.
and have energy the rest of the school day until we leave at like 2:30. It was very annoying. So thankfully our teachers allowed us to eat in most of our classes, but I don't know, man. I have a lot of weird lunch stories that I should try to pull from the depths of my brain for future podcasts, but I do not remember that
Yeah.
one at all, straight up.
yeah,
Like, I remember a lot of other weird things happening at lunch, but not hot sauce.
that some chick threw a tampon across the fucking lunchroom. Not a used one, but still a tampon.
I mean, we can save the dildo story for later, but that's a fun one.
I don't know the dildo story.
We'll definitely save that for later then. But yeah, I don't know. My memory is so bad. That's the
Yeah,
why
that's-
the first topic of this podcast is me ranting about my memory because I can't.
I mean, you don't remember that, and I don't remember playing Fallout New Vegas.
Zach has played Fallout New Vegas.
I just accept that I have at this point, even though I have no memory of it.
He played it at my house, and then I asked him a couple weeks later, like, "Hey, so did you ever end up getting Fallout New Vegas? Like, did you like it enough to buy it for yourself?" And he's like, "I've never played Fallout New Vegas." I'm like, "What do you mean you played it at my house?" And it became a long argument for about 3 years. And
Yeah.
sadly, we resolved it about a year ago. I feel like we should have and could have kept it going so we could have resolved it on the podcast.
It's just me not caring to fight about it anymore, really. It's not resolved, I just don't care enough.
Okay, well, we'll resolve it someday on the podcast because you have played
Perhaps.
Fallout New Vegas. Honestly, I'm going to gift you Fallout New Vegas the next time I have money on Steam because I can't take this hypocrisy anymore. all
This
right?
hypocrisy.
I can't take this blatant lie from you.
I mean, to be fair, it is like apparently the best of the Fallouts because it's got the like aim down sight system that Fallout 4 has, but plays like Fallout 3.
It's a good game. I liked it more than Fallout 3, though I played Fallout 3 more, and I think that's just because I had Fallout 3 for a while, and I only got New Vegas recently, quote unquote. But then, by recently, I mean like recently in when I stopped playing Fallout games. So like I played Fallout games, I guess 11th and 12th grade mostly.
You did not play 4.
I did not play 4. No. I did not. So I played Fallout games for about 2 years. I only had Fallout 3 for the first year and a half of that, and then bought New Vegas for the last 6 months before I got bored of Fallout games, and rightfully so, because Fallout 4 has mixed reviews, and Fallout 76 is a game.
It's a dumpster fire.
It is a game that exists, if you want to
It's
call it
not a Fallout
that.
game,
So
in my opinion.
I feel like I left the Fallout franchise at just the best time.
Yeah.
Like,
I liked Fallout 4, but I don't think... Like, I think the dodgy shit they do with time is kind of unacceptable.
yeah, it's crazy what cryostasis can do. I thought that was a cool idea when they kind of announced it in some of the trailers for Fallout 4. Like, this whole idea of cryostasis and your character being almost on a different timeline than some of the other characters because other characters didn't go into cryostasis. So, like, fucks with, families and timelines.
Yep.
But when I watched some of your gameplay of Fallout 4, it just got so much less cool. Like, it was much less cool than that.
It's like it's set up as this big reveal, but then it's like, oh, cool. So you're gonna die soon, I assume, because you're old as fuck.
Yeah, either way, your son dies.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Yeah, anyways, the point I was making, I guess, is I don't remember a lot of things. And apparently neither do you. Like, I try to, like, almost latch onto you as memory. Like, hey, Zach, remind me to do this
That's such a bad decision.
Because I'm not going to remember, so I try to have other people remind me about certain things that are important. And you probably are not someone I should ask to remind me of anything ever.
Never.
Because a lot of the times you don't remind me.
I got to a point at my old job, and I'm not allowed to do it anymore because I need everything to be metal detectable that I have on me.
Mm.
But I got to the point where I just have a marker and I'd write shit on my arm to remember for later in the day.
I'm really curious how you saw your life flash before your eyes.
That's not my topic. That's your topic.
That's not my topic.
That's not my topic.
Whose topic is this?
I don't know, but it's not mine.
I didn't... What?
Brian, did you put a topic in the podcast?
I wonder if our roommate hacked our Discord.
Our Discord with only us.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, I don't know how that got there. What the heck?
No, yeah, that's why the color system we have is confusing, because some of these topics are yours and some of them are mine, but it, like, switches every other time. Like, this one right here is my topic, obviously, but it's got your color on it.
Oh, I put that there because that was me making fun of your topic.
Oh, okay. But my topic never actually made it in. Because it's nowhere
let's
else.
do that topic. Unless it's somewhere else. Is it somewhere else?
I don't think it's somewhere else.
God,
it doesn't
whose
matter
topic
if it's
is
somewhere
this?
else. I don't know, and
How
it's upsetting.
How did this topic get in our Discord?
It could be either yours or mine, and we just don't remember.
That's true. Both our memories are bad. So, okay, whatever.
So I guess in lieu of my life flashing before my eyes...
Yeah, there's the topic actually... Like, this is word for word what the topic says. Actually saw my life flash before my eyes. And I swear that wasn't me.
I'm sure it couldn't have been me.
Alright, well then we'll do your topic that I made fun of last week and you never actually got to talk about.
You made fun of it last week.
Last Patreon, yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Last Patreon episode I made fun of it, but you never actually got to talk about it.
Yeah, so every year we do like a family Christmas or whatever, either the Sunday before or after actual Christmas, with my mom's extended family on her dad's side. We basically all go over to some aunt's house and we hang out and eat like Christmas dinner or whatever, and then we do fucking Christmas carols, and it's awful and I hate it. And then we eventually get around in a super forced way to Santa Claus is coming to town. Like, we go from like a little town of Bethlehem, like all these super Christian Christmas carols because my family is super religious, to Santa Claus is coming to town. And it's
I
like,
just hate it. It's so
and
cringy.
during that, Santa comes out of a back room in the house, and it's like one of the uncles dressed up as Santa. Spoiler alert, Santa's not real. I'm sorry, young children that are watching this podcast.
Don't watch this podcast.
Don't watch this podcast.
If you're under the age of like 9, well, that's probably still young. I don't know. I was cursing at like 13. So maybe if you're under the age of 13, turn this off. Get your parents' permission. Please get a written signature, mail it to us, as well as Disney.com that your parents allow you to watch our podcast.
This podcast. And then we'll make fun of your parents for allowing you to watch this podcast.
No, I agree with you. I hate Christmas carols, and I think they're so cringy. And I'm not even saying that to be like counterculture, like super edgy.
No, yeah,
it's just like I think they are so cringy. And singing Christmas carols
honestly,
specifically,
it's most Christmas music for me, just because like I think it's whack that you're like people gatekeep the shit out of it to like where you can only listen to it a certain time of year.
Yeah.
And shit. So I'm like, I just don't care. Just don't like develop a connection to this music at all.
Like I don't hate Christmas music per se, but carols specifically.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna show up to a random person's house you've never met before and force them to listen to you sing. Like I'm not a homeowner now, but if I ever become a homeowner, and I say if because.
No.
Holy Lord, it's insane how
it's only getting worse.
How
with this
difficult
pandemic.
it is to get a house in America. But like, if I ever become a homeowner, and someone shows up to my doorstep singing Christmas carols, you guarantee yourself. The German Shepherd I owned, trained to be a good boy, but specifically trained for this situation. Specifically trained for this situation. That German Shepherd is being let loose, dog. Like, get off of my doorstep. So, like, I can...
just train a dog to attack people when it hears Christmas carols.
So, yeah, I can relate to your frustration.
But anyway, like, so Santa comes out, and we finish singing, and he starts, like, listing off people... And fucking, they come up, and it's like all the kids in the family come up, and they receive a present from Santa Claus. And then, like, also some of us are in the bag who are, like, far too old. Like, I'm 22, my fucking cousin is 21, and his little brother is, like, 19. Mm-hmm. And we all get called up for it. And it's because our moms, like, put us in the bag. Like the family of whoever does it puts you in the bag, and it's like a neat little thing, and like it's a little bonus gift for Christmas, I guess, a little bonus present either before or after.
It's like one of those
after.
Cute kind of niche family traditions.
Yeah, I hate it. So anyway, they call me up, and I get a gift card, and then they call my girlfriend up, Cheyenne, who has a bit of social anxiety and doesn't like being the center of attention. And they call her up and make her like, everyone's taking pictures of her with Santa, and all of them are like, you know, staring at her, and she's talking to Santa, and there's nothing I can do. Like, I can't like comfort her or be like, hey guys, fuck off, this is whack. I just gotta, like, sit there and watch in horror as she's, like, being made the most uncomfortable she's ever been in her life.
I like it.
And so she finally, like, comes back, and I actually got called up after her. And I go up and kind of joke with them and try to make him like slip up, because that's what the older kids who are like in on it do. Is we like try to make him slip up as a joke.
Yeah, that's real funny, Zach.
Yeah, well, what else are we gonna do?
I know.
Fucking sit there and take it?
That's fair. I mean,
so anyway, I do my little like bit with Santa, where it's like, have you been good? I'm like, no. He's like, oh, well, take this anyway.
okay.
And then I go back to Cheyenne. I'm like, hey, are you okay? She's like, no. I'm like, do you want to leave? She's like, yes. So we left right then and there.
Okay. I mean, I don't blame you 100%. I mean, I wouldn't participate. Like, if that was my family's tradition.
Yeah.
And I'm 21 years old and they want me to sit on Santa's lap, I don't care how much it affects my relationship with my aunts, uncles, grandparents. I'm not doing it because I'm 21 years old.
Yeah, no, that's...
But, I mean, at least you were able to somewhat save the situation.
Yeah.
That's still yikes. Anyways, we're actually going to take a short break. it's something new we're doing because, one, we want to make sure that the video is still going, as some of our problems in the past episodes have been video, and two, just to, get our dog to calm down, because if you couldn't hear him a couple seconds ago, he was barking. So we'll be right back, and we will see you in a second. Anyways, we're back, and my next topic is actually about something that is a topic that isn't really relatable anymore because everything's shut down due to the virus. But I wrote this down for like episode 1, and it just keeps getting pushed back because we never complete every topic on our list. And so many topics.
We're going to do it this time.
I don't think we will.
We will.
We're halfway through the podcast, and we're
That's
not halfway
okay.
through the topics.
My last topic's real short.
Okay. I don't know why you just developed a southern accent there. But yeah, so
Listen here, boy.
I for many years kind of bragged about the fact that I don't drink coffee, but recently kind of got into it just more for fun. It's why I low-key have coffee stains on my teeth this episode. If the camera's picking that up, I don't know. I'm just trying to cover my bases. So I've been drinking coffee more, and specifically was going to the Starbucks on campus just because I could use my meal plan there. Not because I want Starbucks specifically, but because my student meal plan applied at that Starbucks. And I have a lot of fun new Starbucks drinks I've tried, and I've written down, and I want this to become a recurring bit of just new coffee drinks I've tried for the first time that may seem...
I'm going to start going to Starbucks again.
These coffee drinks may seem completely normal to the avid coffee drinker, but for someone who had never really drank coffee prior to 2020, I thought it'd be a fun bit because, I don't know, I think a lot of people would be intrigued in the life of someone who doesn't drink coffee. I feel like most people drink coffee.
It's like someone who doesn't watch Star Wars, just like, yeah, it doesn't affect me at all.
So, like...
What?
Anyways. That's the Sugar Pine 7 bit where in their podcast someone will say something not funny and they purposely don't say anything back. They just leave the podcast silent to punish that person. I love it.
That's fair.
It's so funny on their podcast. If someone, and they do it to each other. All three of them have it happen. Where if they say something unfunny, they just will make the podcast go silent and make that person sit in their sorrow. Yeah. I don't know. I've been editing all the podcasts as you know. I'm not outsourcing that work to another person. I edit the podcast.
Do we have money to outsource it?
We don't have the money to outsource it.
We don't have the money to outsource anything.
So I've been editing them all, and I come off as kind of mean to you sometimes, but that's just our friendship. I feel like is I joke.
You verbally abuse me, I just take it.
Well,
you verbally abuse me again, I just take it.
That's a mean way of putting it. It's just I joke around more about you, technically because you joke about you more. You self-deprecate more than I do, which makes it easier for me to kind of add on to that.
Yeah, you are a fucking idiot.
So some of these episodes I come off as such a dick and I feel bad, but we're gonna try to talk about some of these new Starbucks drinks. So I tried getting a flat white because that's what a lot of articles I read suggested, and of course my campus Starbucks does not do such fancy drinks.
What is that?
And this kind of goes into my second topic on this string of topics, which is not only am I starting new Starbucks drinks, but the baristas on my campus are kind of the worst. So my first time there, and maybe it's my fault for never being to a Starbucks before, not knowing what to do. But I asked for a grande flat white. I even used their terms. Right?
I don't do that. I refuse.
I didn't say small, medium, large. I said grande. I'm going to an Ariana Grande concert. I said it with a lot of oomph. I was confident.
Yeah, I want a grande flat white.
And the lady goes, "Oh, we don't do those here." She didn't even know what it was. And
whack.
And I'm like, all right, cool. So I'll just get a strawberry acai refresher then. And I specifically asked for that because I was going to try their very,
I just realized what word that is. I'm sorry to stop this here. I pronounce that acai.
I used to until a couple years ago when I learned.
That's acai.
Yeah, I had a friend on campus make fun of me for calling it acai, so I
I
was like, well, I don't like that feeling. I don't like being made fun of in
I
public.
don't like being made fun of for pronouncing something in a foreign language that I've never heard before.
So they had a little note on the counter that said out of the Very Berry refresher.
Oh no.
I'm like, okay, so I'm not going to order Very Berry. They had two refreshers on their menu. Very Berry and Strawberry Acai. So I'm like, I won't order Very Berry even though I kind of want that more. I'll order Strawberry Acai. And then like, oh, we're out of all refreshers. Well, why don't you just have that? And she was just being like so rude with me.
I've never had someone like. To be fair, I order the exact same thing that it's impossible not to have the ingredients for every time.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never had a Starbucks person be like, "Yo, we don't have that.
So,
get out of here."
It just really pissed me off. So I went back to kind of my default, which is the only drink I've ever had before, not at a Starbucks, but you can just get them at Walmart, which is the caramel cappuccino. And I just got that because I was so mad and frustrated. So that's not really a new drink. I had a couple of them because, again, you can get them anywhere. You can get them at gas stations, Walmart, etc. I went back a couple days later, and again, this is all before the virus happened and my campus shut down, and I got a vanilla latte because I'm like, that's a pretty basic item. I feel like that's a good neutral item to judge coffee and Starbucks off of. And I was kind of a fan. It was a little bitter for what I prefer, which is no bitterness. Why would I drink anything bitter if I could choose not to? Like, that's what I've never... One of the things I never understood about coffee, and one of the reasons I don't drink it, is because it doesn't taste good by itself. And, like, yeah, it wakes you up, but I don't want to get addicted to caffeine in the first place. And additionally, why would I drink something that doesn't taste good when there are so many other liquids that exist on planet Earth that do taste good?
I personally like the taste of black coffee.
Ugh, no thank you. So I got a vanilla latte. That was a little bitter. And then I got a hazelnut frappuccino. That's one of the newest things I've tried at Starbucks. And frappuccinos are easily my favorite thing. Just because they have no bitterness. They're super sweet. They're like almost a dessert because they're kind of frozen.
Yeah, because it's like ice cream or whatever.
Yeah, well, it's not ice cream, but it's like...
It's
It's
like an icy mixed with... milk.
Yeah, it's like halfway between... Why am I... Italian ice.
Yeah.
Like, it's halfway between water ice and coffee, it feels like, and I love it. So, I'm finally getting into the world of coffee. It's why my teeth are stained today, because I'm slowly getting addicted like everyone else in the world. And, I don't know, I thought it would be a fun little bit. I plan on going back to Starbucks because the drive-thru is still open. And whenever I try new drinks, I will talk about them on the podcast so that people who do drink coffee can either judge me or at least pity me in my endeavors to learn about it.
Word.
Straight up. But speaking of campus being closed down, like I remembered a story that surprisingly I'd never really told on our last podcast because it happened back then, and I have never really told on stream. But I have had, hands down, what I'm convinced will be the worst experience with a professor in my college career, and I still have about a year of college to go. And it's because it frustrates me to this day because it was finals week, and our class, we had to do a lovely little presentation for our final. And he organized the presentations where certain students did their presentation on certain days of the week. So basically, if your name started at the beginning of the alphabet, you went on the Monday class, middle of the alphabet, Wednesday class, and end of the alphabet, Friday class. And that's when your presentation was due, both in front of the class and a typed up version online. So because my name ends with a W, I'm Wolf in the alphabet, like, I went Friday. Obviously, we talked about this last podcast, I think, like how our names are at the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
I think it was a Patreon episode we talked about this. But yeah, both of our names...
It was recent.
Both of our names are at the end of the alphabet, so we're used to like going last in certain situations.
Yeah. It's nice to go last in these situations.
So I did not have my speech prepared until Friday. So Monday rolls around, almost no one shows up to give their presentation. Wednesday rolls around, almost no one shows up to give their presentation. So my teacher, kind of fed up with the rest of the class, which I can somewhat understand, says, hey, why don't we just, everyone that's here today, which was like half the class at that, maybe less, why don't just everyone who's here today give their presentation, then we don't have to show up on Friday, and we don't have to show up for the rest of the semester, like, because our final was online.
Yeah.
And most people are down with that, except me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't have my presentation ready. It's not due till Friday for me. And he's like, what do you mean? And I'm a liar, all right. I was like, well, I just don't have it on me. It's back at my computer at home. And my professor goes, like, is there any way you could, like, get it before the end of class? And I'm like, no, my apartment's off campus. And he goes, so you're going to make the whole class show up on Friday? And I'm like,
fuck right off.
I'm like, I literally said to him, like, I'm not doing anything. Like, my assignment is due Friday. And he then goes, you know the whole class is going to hate you, right?
That's fucked up.
Which is the most fucked up thing I've ever had a high school teacher, college professor, any person in power say to me.
Yeah.
In an education setting. Like, he literally said, you know the whole class is going to hate you, right? And we've talked about this again before on the podcast. Lots of callbacks today on the podcast. I'm really proud of us.
Hell yeah.
We're connecting every episode we've ever done today. But in high school, I would put up with a lot. And I did put up with a lot. College, not anymore. And I literally said to him, the class has no reason to hate me. My assignment was due Friday. And then I go, what was going to happen to those other people who didn't show up today and who weren't going to be able to present if we don't show up Friday? Are they just going to get a 0? So if anything, I literally said this, and this was kind of douchey and maybe a little egotistical, but I literally,
exactly where you're going.
I literally said, if anything, I'm the savior of those people's grades, and I walked out of the class.
Nice.
Like, I was
Fucking
so
mic
pissed
drop.
off. I was so, and calling myself the savior of the people who didn't show up to class was maybe a little too much. I'll admit, a little bit of a logical fallacy. But literally, my professor, to be fair, my professor was willing to let anyone who didn't show up, and I know why they didn't show up. They probably didn't show up because their presentation wasn't ready, so they wanted to push it off to Friday.
Yeah.
They wanted to present Friday and give themselves more time. I get that, man. I've been there.
Yeah.
Like, my professor was willing to just
Let them take the L.
Yeah, let them take a 0 and not show up to class on Friday, just so he didn't have to show up to class on Friday. He didn't have to work that day.
Yeah,
like,
and he got everyone else who'd already presented on board because they don't want to show up either, but they can't not without the professor saying, nah, just don't show up.
And I'm not going to dox my professor's salary, but I know how much professors make depending on whether or not they have tenure, whether or not they're full-time, and whether or not they're part-time. And he was a full-time professor with tenure, and I know how much he makes, and it's a fuck ton, all right?
Yeah.
I know some college professors are underpaid, but, like, once you've been at a campus for as many years as he has, you've gotten enough raises, enough, bumps in pay. He was making a fuck ton, and you can't show up one Friday, and you're willing to then screw over kids' grades, and that's our final
Kids
project.
who are paying thousands of dollars to you.
That was our
to
final
fucking teach
project.
them.
It wasn't our final essay. Like I said, we had a final essay that was due online.
Yeah.
But that was our final project, so it was basically half of our final grade.
Yeah.
And he was willing to give kids 0s. And, basically, I'm not going to say that would have automatically failed them, but for a lot of those kids, they would have automatically failed that class, not gotten the credit, and wasted
Yeah.
over $1,000
Yep.
paying for that class just because the professor didn't want to show up one Friday. And then he tried to make me the target and me the reason we had, he tried to make me the bad guy. Like, I'm screwing over people's grades. And it pissed me off so much. It made me livid because
Well, the thing is, he could have easily just said, all right, everyone who presents today, you don't have to show up on Friday.
Yeah.
I'll literally do this solo with you if I have to.
And the other people who didn't show up. It's crazy to me. And he tried to, call me out in front of the whole class. He did call me out in front of the whole class. Tried to make me the bad guy. And I was just fed up with it.
Yeah.
Understandably
so.
It broke me. When he started his little rant with, well, can't you just go get it from your apartment? I'm like, no. And he's like, why not? And he was, getting frustrated with me. I'm like, I live off campus. And then he goes, the whole class is going to hate you, right? He said that word for word, and it literally, it's like that show Snapped. It's then she snapped. And that's what happened with me. I snapped. I'm like, and I literally, I don't remember my exact rant except for the ending part. But roughly I said, the class has no reason to hate me. All right, my assignment was due Friday. I'm going to do it on Friday, and it'll be submitted on Friday. and I was just so pissed off. And then the ending part, I remember word for word, just because in the moment I felt
That's
proud.
such a fucking mic drop.
I know. I was like, if anything, I'm the savior of the people who didn't show up today's grades, and I just left. And I was so pissed. I was so pissed. Oh my god. Anyways, yeah, that was a fun story that I kind of remembered. I mean, now that we're like in the middle of quarantine, I think our dog just dropped a bone from 10 feet in the air. Oh my god, that was loud.
What the fuck?
Now
Someone just fucking slammed in the garage door next door or some shit.
Yeah, that was a really loud. If it wasn't our dog throwing the bone around, I don't know what else it would have been. But now that we're in quarantine, I'm remembering more stories about college than when I was actually in college, and I think it's because like I miss it a little bit.
Yeah, and like you don't have to think about like you can think of, man, what were some bullshit that happened instead of like, oh, I got to work on this grade.
Yeah, I kind of miss showing up to campus and hanging out with friends or eating at the dining hall and seeing weird stuff, dog. Oh my god. I have so many stories planned in future podcasts on our Discord about like just weird things I've seen on campus. But yeah, that was one of my least favorite moments to ever happen to me in a college setting.
That's
and
wild.
It's one of the few times I've ever walked out of a class before the class was over, and like basically while the teacher was still teaching. And the other time, by the way, fun fact, if you want to hear the other story as to when I've walked out of a classroom in the middle of class while the teacher was teaching, you can watch it on our Patreon episode this week.
Good plug.
I know. For $2 a month. It's not that much.
Just
$2. Shameless plug. I apologize. Sorry, I'm not trying to be greedy. Not trying to be, a money-grubbing podcaster.
But give us money.
But it is true. Like, in Patreon episode 4, released the same day as this episode, I talk about the other time I've walked out of a class. And that was less frustrating, but more annoying. It was like... I walked out because I'll give you a little teaser. I walked out of a class because I was presented with the dumbest assignment I've ever had to do in my college career, the most pointless assignment I've ever had to do in my college career, and I just didn't want to do it, so I walked out.
It just clicked in my mind. I'm like, wait, what was it?
How did you forget already?
Yeah, no, see what I'm saying?
I know, we both have bad memories. But yeah, I don't know. People just annoy me. Like, there was this time I went to the nearest Walmart to where we live right now.
Yeah.
And I was wearing the Cloud9 hoodie that you gave me. It's one of my favorite hoodies I have right now. I love Cloud9, even if I don't watch esports that much anymore. I still love the organization. I think they are a lovely brand. Their Twitter is a pretty good meme. And I was wearing my Cloud9 hoodie, and we were walking out of the Walmart, me and my girlfriend, and someone was walking into the Walmart wearing the same hoodie. And I called out to him like, yo, and I did pretty loudly. And he was walking with, like, a friend. And his friend noticed me. Yeah. And he, like, smiled. Looked back at the other guy wearing the Cloud9 hoodie. And, like, I could tell and his friend could tell that, like, he was purposefully ignoring me.
Yeah. That's fucking whack.
And, like, the guy just ignored me. And he was, like, being so high and mighty and, like, douchey about it. Like, he didn't want to recognize me. Even though we're wearing the same shirt.
Yeah.
And, like, I wasn't good enough for his time. And the dude he was walking with, who did acknowledge me, kind of like gave me a glance like, I'm sorry, my friend's a dick. And I was like, it pissed me off. I'm like, we're wearing the same hoodie. I don't care if you think you're better than me, I don't deserve your time. Like, the least you can do is acknowledge me when I say yo loudly to you. And
like, you can just be like, hey.
I would have been much more pissed off about it if the other guy in the situation
had also ignored you.
Yeah, if he had also like ignored me and was kind of a douche about it, but instead he looked over at me and like acknowledged my pain. He's like, I'm sorry. Like, he was almost...
See, if I was in that situation, I would have been like, yo, sorry my friend's ignoring you, dude.
Like, he gave me a little bit of sympathy for his friend being an asshole, which made me feel less bad. But yeah, me and my girlfriend were just so confused. Like, he had to have heard me.
Yeah,
like,
no,
his
no
friend,
unless he was like,
his friend right next to him heard me.
Unless he's like deaf or has earbuds in.
Acknowledged me and also did like a double take towards me. So clearly I was loud enough. It was just like, wow, okay, some people are just assholes, I guess. I don't know. Like, he just purposely ignored me, and that makes me frustrated because, I don't know, I try to, be nice to people in public. But most of the time, like, if someone comes up to me and talks to me, I'll talk to them for a little bit, even if I don't know them. And even if I find them annoying. And this guy just couldn't give me the benefit of the doubt. He couldn't give me the same privilege. And I don't know. I just try to be nice to people in public because people are nice to me. Like, there's this one old lady who walks around our town, like goes on walks around our town, and I see her often, and every time she says hi to me. And listen, I'm very, I'm not going to say self-anxious and like socially anxious, but I'm not mentally prepared to just say hi to people when I go on walks. Like, I go on a walk to exercise and listen to music, and she'll say hi to me even if I have headphones in. And like, I don't really want to say hi to her because I'm a little anxious about it, but I'll always say hi back just to be nice. And she's a nice little old lady. And if people say hi to me on campus or they compliment me on my clothes, which has happened before, like, I've gotten a lot of compliments on my Sugar Pine 7 merch that I own to, go another callback.
To name an example.
Yeah, and I also have gotten compliments on my own merch, which makes me feel really good because I get self-conscious sometimes about my merch, which is why I've removed...
Your merch looks good, dude.
I've removed so many items from my store.
I gotta get the Sugar Skull hoodie again.
Mine
just disappeared. I don't know where it went.
There are so many items on my merch store that have survived for maybe a week. I put them up, they were there for a week, and I'm like, nope, and I take them off. So, like, I've gotten compliments on my shirts and my clothing before, so I try to compliment other people. And that was one of those situations where, like, he was wearing the same hoodie as me, I wanted to compliment him on it, and he just ignored me, and it pissed me off. But I don't know. I've just come to terms, and I've come to accept that he was an asshole. Like, straight up. Anyways, I mean, we're kind of coming to the end here. We can do one more topic maybe before we do the hot sauce.
Okay.
Why'd you say it like that? They're your topics. Why are you sad?
I'm not sad. I'm disappointed in this fool.
Oh,
this guy fucking rolls up into work one day. Mm-hmm. And we had a sign on the door because we're a factory that produces bread that says if you're sick, go home and call us and tell us you're sick, and HR will work with you to get you those 2 weeks off, to get you paid, tested, whatever the fuck it is that you need. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, I see that. Walks in. Goes to clocks in, changes his clothes, and goes to the sanitation area where we always start our day with a meeting that's basically, you go do this, you go do this, you go do this.
Yes.
He comes in, he walks up to the lead. He's like, hey, I feel sick. I've had a cough. All this stuff. And she's like, all right, well, you got to tell the supervisor so that he can send you home without consequence. Mm-hmm. And so she's like, I'm gonna go get the supervisor. And as soon as I heard him say he was sick, I was like 2 feet from him. I stepped away, so I was like 8 feet from him. And he's like, all right, cool. Now that I've told the lead, it's time for me to get right up here to Zach.
Yeah, that's just douche. Like,
and already, that's not. He got closer than that. I just can't reach.
Already coming into work.
Yeah.
When there's a sign on the door,
go away.
Yeah, and then also like purposely getting close to people.
Well, and my thing is, he lives a quarter mile away from the location. He walks to work. It was cold as fuck that day. There's no way you walk to work when you're cold, when it's like that cold and windy outside, and you're sick. Especially when you know you can just call in.
Yeah.
And so anyway, he got sent
so are you saying he was faking it then?
Me and everyone else involved in that believe he was faking it.
Oh, so he was just trying to get out of work.
The supervisor, yeah, that's why it says to get out of work for one day. The supervisor can't say that he believes it, so he's like,
he has to let him go.
I'm basically like to the supervisor, like, he was faking. He's like, no, he's sick. Like, you're talking about he's sick in a mind for not wanting to work.
No, that's just, yeah, that's so stupid to fake being sick and then add on joking around with like being close to people.
During a pandemic.
I know, yeah. Like, I guess it's less rude than actually.
It got worse.
Oh, well, my point was going to be it's less rude than like actually being touchy with people when you do have it.
Yeah.
But, like, still being touchy with people and faking it isn't a funny joke.
No,
like, that's not okay.
But, like, we think if he actually felt sick that day, it's because you got a runny nose from walking to work. Mm-hmm. But anyway, like 3 days later or whatever, they were like, "Hey, dude, go get tested." He's like, "I can't afford to get tested." The tests are free, dog.
Yeah.
They're free.
If you have
You
symptoms,
just got insurance from this place because you've been here the time needed to get insurance. It's free. Go get tested. And he came back, and I kind of like called him out on it. I'm like, yeah, people were saying you said you couldn't afford to get tested, like a free test. He's like, oh, no. I was saying that I couldn't afford to stay out of work for the time it would take for the results to come back.
Oh my god, bro, what a liar.
First off, the results were going to come back negative. You know that. Secondly, this was at the time where it took like 3 days for a test result to come back after you got it.
Yeah.
And he was out for 2 weeks because of it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, as someone who I consider myself a pretty good liar, it's not something I'm proud of, but something that I'm not gonna hide.
No.
Like, I feel like I'm a pretty good liar. It's so just cringy to see people fail to lie.
Yeah,
in
no,
some of
it's
the like that's such a simple lie to say you're sick, but he went above and beyond.
He
had
tried to really like show it.
Yeah, had to show up to work to prove it. Like, that's just what
No.
an idiot, what a loser. Like,
Absolutely.
oh my god. Anyways, we're coming up on the end of the podcast here. We're almost at an hour. So Zach, would you get the hot sauce, please? You have to get up to get it, please. Don't reach and drop it. I kind of like this episode. This episode's been weird though. It's been like the callback episode. I'm gonna name this episode the hot sauce episode because there's hot sauce involved.
But in our hearts, it's the callback episode.
But realistically, it's the callback episode because we have just been calling back to so many previous topics from previous episodes, previous stories. Like, this episode is the greatest collaboration of topics I think we've ever done.
Oh, yeah.
Either people are going to love it or people are going to hate it, but I think it's kind of cool. But the way it's going to work, I said at the beginning, every hot sauce episode, aka every episode that ends with a 4, we're going to do a different hot sauce in a different game. And the way the games will work is whoever wins the game gets to eat the hot sauce that is lesser on the chip.
I don't like this.
Whoever
at
loses
all.
the game has to eat the hot sauce that is completely loaded on the chip. Now that's a lot of hot sauce.
At first I thought this was just gonna be a little like prank, like, oh, you don't like hot sauce, take the L.
No,
But I hate.
I
this
wouldn't
even more than it
directly
would've
force
been.
you to eat the bigger one. But this is a lot of hot sauce, I gotta be honest. And I only put this much on because it's like a 5 out of 10. If it was a 10 out of 10 hot sauce, we wouldn't have that much on the chip. That would be dangerous. But the game is gonna change every week. So the idea I had for this week was to play a card game, but that wouldn't really look well unless we had a secondary camera showing the cards.
Yeah.
So until we get that set up, we're not going to do a card game. Maybe next time. Maybe for episode 14. This one's a simple game, Zach, and it comes from The Princess Bride. We're going to do the Game of Wits, where you're going to turn around, and I'm going to rotate the plate to give either you or me the loaded hot sauce. And then while you're turned around, you're going to tell me to either keep the plate the same or turn it.
I hate this.
And wherever it lands is
I
where
hate
we fall.
this.
Okay?
I hate this.
So
This
I want
is
you
the
to...
Game of Wits.
Yeah, that's what it's called. It's from The Princess Bride.
That's whack.
It's from The Princess Bride. All right, be cultured. Okay, Zach. So I'm turning the plate, and I'm trying to decide what I want to do. I didn't think about this beforehand to make it fair, because
I didn't think about this before.
well, it wouldn't be fair if I knew the game and you didn't. I spent days preparing my decision and like
Yeah.
trying to think about the
Yeah.
strategy.
So the plate's being rotated as we speak, like this whole time,
Yes,
and it's continuing to rotate now.
I finished.
You finished rotating the plate.
Would you like me to keep the plate the same or turn it?
Turn it.
You can turn around.
Okay.
I gave it to myself. Oh no! And you told me to turn it. Are you ready, Zach?
No.
Oh, and we have an added negative, an added like punishment. You have to
read that after taking the bad.
The person who loses has to eat the bigger chip and read the outro.
All right.
So I wrote the outro for you.
I got this. Give me that.
All right, here, take the outro.
I'm gonna die.
Oh my
I'm
god!
gonna
All right.
die here.
Take your chip. It's a little soggy. I'm sorry.
Oh no.
I know it's.
Oh no.
Okay, let's dink it and sink
Dink
it.
it. Click.
See, this will go 5 out of 10. We can't end it. You can't get. You can't fix it until you finish.
I'm aware.
We might not have milk, but we have bread upstairs.
Oh, that'll help.
Oh god.
Thank you to everyone who watched or listened to today's episode. We would like to announce that we have finally uploaded the podcast to 2 new audio platforms. Those being Anchor.fm and Spotify. Apologies for the delay on that, but we're excited to branch out from just YouTube. Additionally, make sure to check our Patreon. For $2 a month, you receive bonus episodes every week. Anyways, there's not much else for us to announce, but this outro show should take up the whole page, so I guess I'll keep going. Make sure to stay safe. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Okay, go get Fred. Go get Fred. Okay. Yeah, so Zach hiccuped through most of that. We are now uploading this podcast onto Anchor FM and Spotify. We're finally on Spotify. I'm sorry it took this long. My mouth is on fire.